So today I'm going to be doing a Q&A vid on life in Thailand in 2024. It's been a while since I've done one of these and I really enjoy them. So I've had questions submitted by you through YouTube and Instagram. So let's get into them. So first question, how has Thailand changed since you moved out here? And that's a great question. Thailand's changed quite a lot since I moved out here. I moved here in the middle of all the lockdowns and restrictions and everything, and Bangkok was very quiet. Thailand was a very different place. There was no tourism at that time, and Thailand's changed so much since then. A big thing is the way you were kind of treated, I guess, by people. And this is sort of generally speaking. Back then, because there was no tourism, you're sort of treated very much like a local. And I find now often the transactions or interactions that you have with people, it's almost like you're being treated like a tourist. Sometimes, you know, not all the time, obviously, but that is one thing that I noticed that's different from then to now. Another thing is the cost of everything. Everything has gone up significantly, especially things like rent and general living expenses, but food and restaurants, particularly in the Sukhumvit area and in amongst the areas that are popular with tourism, it seems like the price of everything has gone up. Then add in things like taxis and tuk-tuks and getting around. All those people, you know, they never used to try and rip you off, but now it can be a challenge sometimes getting a taxi around here. And then lastly, the traffic is insane. During all that time, it was so good to get around. It's just been Songkran. It was great getting around during that time because everyone sort of leaves the city, and it reminded me of them where if you wanted to go to the other side of the city, you just jump in a taxi and go there. But God, the traffic, especially around where I live, is a nightmare. All right, next question, and this is a great one. How do you stay motivated in Bangkok or Pattaya when many other expats are older and seem finished with setting their goals? And that is a really interesting one to navigate. There are a lot of, there's a lot of people that have come out here to retire, but there are a lot of younger entrepreneurs and people starting businesses and remote workers, all those content creators. There's no shortage of content creators around here. But I think no matter what you're into, there are like-minded people here. It's just sort of finding those people and finding your circle. For me, I found my circle quite early, my group of friends. My friends now were my friends 2 years ago. So I managed to find a great group of people, and then I'm fine hanging out with those people, and that's all I need, really. This is where I think it's great to live in a city like Bangkok because there is so many people here. There's a lot of like-minded people here. Places like Pattaya, while it is nice to be down by the beach, I find, for me personally, I'm not as inspired down there. There's an energy I get from this city, but I love being down at the beach. That's why I'm down there just about every other week. Chiang Mai was an example that was used, and that's a great place to meet other digital nomads and younger people sort of working remotely. For me, I like to be in a major city and I want to be near the beach or close enough to the beach. Chiang Mai is awesome and I do want to visit there again soon, but I think it just comes down to each person's personal preference of what you want out of a place that you live in. A great advice for meeting people or meeting like-minded people is jump on like Facebook groups or maybe Reddit. I don't know, I try and avoid Reddit at all costs, but I imagine there's Reddit groups that can help you find other people, you know, do some networking here. Another thing you can do is use social media, you know, using Dan as an example. He's probably my closest mate here. And I found him on Instagram and slid into his DMs basically. And then we ended up becoming great friends after that. One thing to add on from that is these older people that have sort of completed their goals or finished with their goals, they're actually great people to talk to because they've achieved what they wanted to achieve. So they're full of infinite knowledge and wisdom. There's plenty of grumpy old men here, but there's a lot of highly intelligent people that you can actually learn from and draw a lot of inspiration from too. What do you hate about Thailand? Hate's a strong word. I don't think I hate anything. I hate the sidewalks. Oh God. Yeah, I hate the sidewalks. When I was in Japan recently with Dan, we were walking down the street and just be like, God, how nice is it to be walking along and not have to scan the terrain of where you're walking. And, you know, if you get a message on your phone, you can read that instead of trying to navigate your way just down the street. God, my street is a nightmare. All around my area, you have to be looking constantly to make sure you don't walk into a random pole or trip over something or fall down a hole never to be found again. But in terms of general living here, I don't think there's anything I really hate. I'm very happy here. What are your top tips for someone wanting to move to Thailand? My top tips would be to sort of move around and explore different places. The Thailand that you know from coming here on holidays is going to be very different to the Thailand when you live here. So, don't commit to something straight away based off your previous experiences from coming here on holidays. Another question that was similar to this that came through was someone asked, where do you recommend living in Pattaya that's close to Soi 6 and close to all the entertainment? And the answer is you might not actually want that. It's nice to be away from that. When you live here and you're in amongst it all the time, it's nice to be away and then go to that when you want that. The way I found my place and where I wanted to live, which area, was I stayed in Airbnbs for a couple of months. I'd spend a week in one area, a week in the next. I actually ended up finding my building through Airbnb because I stayed in a place in there and I loved where I lived so much. I loved where I was so much that I decided to get an apartment there. So long story short, don't commit to anything right away. I would experiment with trying different areas. Use Airbnb as an example. You can stay all over the place and get a real feel for what you want living here as opposed to being here on holidays. Now, if you are coming out here to Thailand at any stage, one thing I definitely recommend doing is getting yourself a VPN. I personally use and recommend SurfShark, who are the sponsor of today's video. Now, before you click away and skip, if you're coming to Thailand at any time, you're going to want to have a VPN. I used to pay for Surfshark's service. I now get it for free. But I was hacked here on a public Wi-Fi, and that's really scary. The computer I was using was fine. There was nothing sensitive on there. But if it was my main laptop, I do things like my internet banking. I pay for stuff with credit cards online. That could have all been hacked from me, basically. So use a VPN when you're out here, especially if you're using public Wi-Fis. Mine was in a mall or a McDonald's or something. I'm not sure where it was, but it was really scary. Another thing is a lot of streaming services don't seem to work here, so you can change your location and get around all that. Now, I've got a great promo code you can use. That's keis1. And as I take a look at the website, there's 83% off, 3 months extra for free. This is one of the deals that I used when I signed up. It's super cheap. I also have a QR code here that you can use to scan to get all the information. But check out Surfshark. Everything is down in the description below. And stay safe when you travel. Oh, this is a good one. What is something from back home you wish you could have here? Actually, this kind of ties in with what do you hate about Thailand? This may be something else I hate. I hate carrying a wallet around. I wish everything was streamlined here. So it's so frustrating that for the trains, I've got a card to use on the BTS. That card doesn't work on the MRT, so I need a separate card for the MRT. I hate cash. Personally, I wish you could just Apple Pay or pay on your watch would be ideal. They don't have PayPass much here. Then you've got the Thai QR code payment system, which is great, but you can't use that at 7-Eleven for whatever reason. I know the reason, but then if I want to pay for things there, I can't use Apple Pay, so I have to use my Australian card if I want to pay on card. Then there's a 200 baht minimum to use a card there, so that means I need to carry cash as well. So that's what, 4-5 cards I need to carry around and cash all the time just to survive your day-to-day here. I just wish everything was streamlined. Back in Australia, you can do everything on your phone or your watch, and Japan was the same too. Train tickets, pay for things, it's all so easy, whereas here everything has its own payment method, which is super frustrating. What is your daily routine? I don't really have a daily routine. That's very much by choice. I don't want to feel like I have to do anything. I make videos when I want to make videos and when I'm inspired to make videos. Thankfully, I'm at a stage now where I don't need to keep hammering out content just for the sake of making content. So when I do make something, it's something that I'm interested in actually producing. A typical week for me is kind of always changing, really. I typically do my own thing during the week. I may catch up with friends throughout the week or whatever, but I'll spend the weekends with my girlfriends. I'm home just about every night. I don't really go out or drink, or I still drink on occasion, but I don't really go out partying or anything anymore. I'm always interested in becoming a better filmmaker, so I'm always looking at tutorials and trying to learn how to be better at what I do, watching other things, trying to draw inspiration and get ideas as well, and essentially just work on my craft to be the best that I can be at doing this. I try and stay quite active. I'm outside every single day. I'm out doing things, even if I just go for a walk. I really enjoy just listening to a podcast and going for a walk. I can walk for hours. I still skate from time to time. I'm just basically happy doing my thing here. What is the Thai visa situation like lately? Got a ton of visa questions, always do. So for me, I'm on a business visa, which just gets extended year after year, and that was all sort of set up for me. In terms of people wanting to move here, I'm actually hearing that the visa situation is getting quite difficult. There was a while it was really easy. You could just come here and there was tons of different visa options and visa agents were just handing them out like candy, it seems. But maybe that's why we're coming into this now. So I think a lot of visa agents and a lot of places are coming under a bit of scrutiny. I do hear that visas are getting harder to get here. And I think a big thing is like every time they catch someone doing something wrong, or they deport someone, or they find out someone's doing something illegal, they're always on like an education visa or something like that. So it seems like they're kind of taking a look into these places a little more and meeting the visa requirements and everything. You can still get visas here, no problems. There's a digital nomad visa in the works. Apparently it's been in the works for years, but been announced that it's closer to coming out. We'll have to just wait and see about that. But for visa options, look at things like the Smart Visa is a good one. I think there's 3 different types of that. If you're older, the retirement visa is by far the best one. And then you've got the Thailand Elite Visa, or Thailand Privilege Visa, I think it's called now, which is basically a pay to play, and that's, I think it's like $20,000 or something like that for a 5-year visa. But I mean, if you pay for it, you get it. It's just, that's a lot of money to drop at one time, and then you're signing yourself up for a 5-year commitment. You know, you may not want to live here in 5 years time. So as always, the visa thing is tricky, but the best advice is to speak to a visa agent here, because they want your business, they want your commission, they want your money basically. So speak to a visa agent, speak to a couple and get an idea of the prices, because they all kind of make up their own prices. But if you do want a visa here in Thailand, of course, you can always get them. Money talks here. This is a good one. I'll shorten it. Have you had to change your content since having a girlfriend? And yeah, in a way, you know, I used to make a lot of dating videos and nightlife videos and partying videos with girls, and I kind of wanted to branch away from that anyway. I really want to make videos that I'm proud of, that I put out and I'm like, yeah, I made that. Also, I enjoy sometimes just making fun, silly little videos, but for the most part, they're not as rewarding to me to produce. They're fun videos to make in the way that I'm having fun on a night out, but they don't stimulate me as a creator. They're great for views, but as I start to progress further with this and I'm making better money, I don't really need to chase views as much. And another reason I wanted to branch away from it is making videos like that, you're also less appealing to brands, and the brands and my sponsorships is how I make the majority of my money, and they don't want to really be associated with channels that make that sort of content too much. For me and my personal goals, those videos don't align with the direction I want to go in. I want to be known for being a filmmaker, a storyteller. I want to invoke emotion in my videos. And to answer the question, whether I had a girlfriend or not, I don't think that would change because of the direction that I want to head in. I should just add, ironically enough, one of my mates is coming out, one of my best mates from Korea is coming out here next month, and I'm going to take him down to Pattaya for a few days. We're going to have a boys' weekend down there, and I'm going to make a video on that. But that's because I want to make a video with him and I want to go just have a weekend away. So yeah, totally contradicting everything I've just said there. How are you doing for money on YouTube? Money's been great. I actually did a video a little while ago covering how I make my money. I'll leave a link for that here or here. But basically everything's been going really well. I've got my long-standing sponsor SurfShark, which is great. I've just about to start working with another brand, and I'll have those 2 and I'll try and lock them in for quite a while. I don't want to do too many. Ideally 2 brand deals a month is what I want to be doing, and I really want them to be brands that I believe in. So SurfShark that I plug and promote. I used to pay for the service. I truly believe in them. I use that every single day. This next one that I'm working with, you'll hopefully find out about in the next week if everything goes to plan. They're another brand, another company that I truly believe in as well. And these are my major way of making money. So I appreciate your patience throughout those sponsor reads, but they are they're the highest income source I have. Then on top of that, I've got my YouTube ad revenue and all my side hustles and everything that comes. I've got my courses. I've got nearly 10,000 students now. That's going really well. Making some more courses, really excited to launch them. But yeah, for that, money's great, and it's really nice to not be chasing views all the time, and I can focus more on putting out the type of content that I really want to make. You're putting out a lot of different content lately. What direction do you see the channel going? And that's, God, that's like an internal struggle I have is I've been making some content lately that I'm really, really proud of. Things like my Japan documentary, the motorcycle street racing Deck Wen documentary. I was really proud of that. Recently, my video in Thailand of life on minimum wage. I really enjoy these bigger projects that I can sort of sink my teeth into, and I want to get better at doing them. The challenge is they take a long time to make. So my motorcycle one took me 2 weeks. The one where life in Thailand on minimum wage, I think that was 3 to 4 days. Full days of working on that, and there is times when I'm doing that I miss just making fun, silly videos about nothing. So I don't know where that all fits in. I kind of want my channel to just be one thing. So I'm toying with the idea of making a second channel with, you know, videos that are just fun, that I enjoy making, a little bit more raw. and then keeping this main channel as the ones that I can do the bigger projects and really sink my teeth into. The podcast idea that I've been talking about forever is finally coming into place. So that's going to be with Dan. We're just in the stages of planning at the moment. Dan was back in the UK on some family stuff. Anyways, on the way back here, and we'll be launching that. Really excited for that. So to answer the question, I don't have a definite answer yet. Toying with the idea of 2 channels, one that's great content, one that's just fun content that I can pump out when I feel like making videos, and it'll be more sort of frequent. And then the podcast idea with Dan, that'll be sort of 1 episode a week, maybe 1.5, sort of, 2 every 3 weeks or something like that. I'm just in the early stages of planning all that at the moment. I'll keep you updated. Well, I'm an idiot and I forgot to bring my spare battery for my camera, so I'm gonna have to finish up here. Final thoughts, thanks to everyone that's been following along the journey. Been a whole lot of fun, some really cool content coming out. I'm actually off to Phuket in a couple of days, gonna be spending a week down there. Excited for that. Idiot. I know where my battery is. It's on the table right next to my front door so that I don't forget it. What do you know? I forgot it. Thanks for watching.